No, they're still transitioning into the system, but generally speaking, what are your impressions of Trevor's supporting cast now? The three receiver additions, Gabe and Brian and Devin and Mitch at center too, the value of an experienced guy there.
Yeah, it's been fun, and I think the way coaches set up the offseason program, it gives us a number of different opportunities to kind of work those guys in. And there's a ton of individual time that we have to just run individual routes, and then whether it's the meetings and the conversations the players have, it's the game today. Every offseason, there's a number of new players that come into your organization, so you got to spend as much time with them to get on the same page. And then that's really what for training camp, because right now we're out there practicing, but it's not it's football. Don't get me wrong, but it's not full speed. We're not in pads. It's just really getting to know one another, and just touching up on some things, cleaning up on some things, working on some ideas that we might have had, some new wrinkles we want to put in, and really just teaching the new guys the system, and then clean up maybe some little details that we want to improve on from last year.
Another new guy, what's been like getting to know Mac Jones? What are your early impressions of him?
I think Mac's done a great job. All three quarterbacks in there. I'm very fortunate to have the quarterback room that I have with Trevor, CJ, and Mac. They've done a great job of, coming together as one in that room, because we're going to spend a lot of time in there together. And I think, Trevor and CJ deserve a lot of credit for helping Mac learn the system and helping him any way they can. And he's done a great job. He's, having a lot of fun out there. I think all three guys, we like to have fun around here and, just help each other out and do whatever we can. But he's really done a nice job of picking up the system. And, he's played a lot of football. So it's not like this is a new game for him playing at this level. So that there's nothing like experience. So, what he's done the first couple of years in his career, being able to play the number of games he has, that helps. And it really was just, the big thing for him is just learning terminology.
Mike Press has said that the offense was ripped down to the studs when it came to designing the offense for this year. How would you describe coming out of last year to where you guys currently stand?
Well, I think every offseason you go down, you look at your system, you evaluate it, you look at the pluses and minuses. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. You always strive for perfection, and there's things you look, your team changes from year to year. Some things you look at one year, you might look at the 2022 season and say these things were unbelievable, and then you look at last year and you say maybe we didn't execute these things as well, or there's some things that you flip it the other way. Some things in 2022 you look at, you might say we weren't very good at, and then we were better at this year. So that's every offseason. You really break it down, you look at it, and then but that stuff you learn from, but then you figure out, okay, moving forward, what type of team do we want to be? You bring in new players, whether it's through draft, free agency. There's always going to be changes on the roster, and that's the fun part about the offseason. And then the game of football at times is a game of thievery. You look around the league, whether it's during the season, whether it's the offseason program, you look at some things and say, hey, here's the offenses, and you look at them, you kind of see some things they did, and you got to look at it and say, okay, does our personnel, can we run some of those things? So that's what we're doing now, is you put a couple new wrinkles in, and you get in training camp, and you find out, what do our players do best, and that's the great part about the offseason program.
Like you said, you're still in t-shirts and shorts.
Yeah.
Does it feel like, in terms of the skill set of the wide receivers, does it feel like the scouting department, Trent, the front office, made a conscious effort to identify receivers who are similar to what Trevor had when he was in college?
Yeah, well, you always do every year. I think our personnel department and the coaching staff have done a great job of really defining, what type of team we want, what kind of players we want. And I think Trent and his staff do a phenomenal job, whether it's free agency, through its draft, whether it's re-signing our own players, of going out there and define, okay, this is where we are after the season's over. Okay, here's the guys we'd like to bring back if we can, and you're not always going to get all of them. There is a salary cap, and you can only sign so many people back, and guys leave for different reasons, and then you get into the draft, and you try to, whether it's through free agency or the draft, you fit your needs. And I think from a personnel department, you're trying to always improve your football team, and then as coaches, we try to put our players in a position to be successful. And it's just like during the season, there's gonna be some injuries that come up. You got to move guys around, but that's what this time of the year is for. It's, it's June now, and we don't kick off officially till September to a true game. So you just continue to build your roster and try to get the best guys out there. And fly around.